Welcome to WO50 Podcast, Women Over 50 in Body Wisdom and Wellness.
Hello there. My name is Corrine, and I'm here with my dear friend, my BFF, Eddi. And today we talked about our morning routines. Eddi and I shared our morning routines, and we actually got into our night routines too. Hey, Ed?
We did. We touched on them, and we talked about not letting ourselves be an afterthought. Right? We just set up our morning routines, get it going in the morning, and get the brisk walk in, eat the real food, have the sunshine, kind of like that. But we kind of talked about lots of stuff.
Yeah. If you have a problem with mornings, or if you need a good morning routine, or if you need support with your morning routine or new ideas, then this is your podcast. We hope you enjoy it.
Bye.
Hi,
Ken. Same time.
I'm wearing what's this color called? Royal blue?
It's like a purple.
Yeah, purpley blue.
Yeah. Looks great on you. That was one of your Christmas presents I sent.
Was it this year, Christmas present?
I think so.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I don't even remember.
Yeah.
It's very soft.
Yes, it is very, very nice. Very lovely. It's good color on you. I have my baby blue.
Yeah, you got your favorite
turtleneck.
A little chilly up there, huh?
It's a bit chilly, but it's good cross-country skiing weather.
You go for it. You enjoy that.
I love it. I feel so fresh. And I just added it into my morning routine.
Did you really, or are you just saying that to get into our topic? Because
no, I did, because the weather is now lovely for outdoor winter sports.
But you don't do it in the morning before you go to work.
Well, on the days that I'm not going into the office, I do. So we go out in the morning, and on the days I work, we do it in the evening. We'll ski in the evening. Yeah. As long as it doesn't rain or ice up, or it's day to day. It's present moment living here.
That's great. Yeah. So we decided to talk about morning routines. We actually did record this very early on, but we didn't publish our first 3 or 4 episodes because it was just practicing. And yes, remembered that was one of our topics, and it's such an important topic, what your morning routine is. And I've always felt, your mornings are how you set up your day. And mornings have always been very important to me because I'm not a big morning lover. I go slow in the morning. I remember when I was in high school, the reason why I couldn't wait to graduate is because I couldn't wait to not have to get up when somebody else wanted me to get up. And I've kind of spent my whole life not having to get up until I wanted to get up, which is such a luxury and lovely thing because I don't like waking up really early when my body does not ready to get up.
Oh, well, that's a good thing to honor. Your sleep is really important because you want to go through your whole sleep cycle. Your dishwasher doesn't like to be shut off in the middle either of its program. So that's my new, I always have these new little things. So I'm like, okay, you have a sleep cycle to get through. And all the studies now, me, I'm always reading up on the science and what's going on, and as you are. And we don't want to go into a second sleep cycle. That's why we don't want to hit the snooze button over and over and over, because we keep dropping into a deep sleep, waking up out of it. So that sleep cycle.
Yeah. Go ahead. It's also
that sleep cycle when we're resting, we go into REM, we're awake, we go, the deep sleep is the beginning of the sleep cycle, and then we kind of wake up. So allowing your body to wake up naturally is great. But again, if you have to get up by a clock, which some people do, don't hit the snooze button. Get up. That's your, new morning routine for me, because sometimes I did like to hit the snooze button because I love getting that little bit of extra sleep.
I mean, that's torture to me. That's absolute torture to me to hit a snooze button and lay back down, because waking up to me the first time I wake up is torture enough. And if I hit the snooze and go back to sleep, then I have to do it again. So I've never been a snooze button person. It's also waking up to me procrastinating first thing in the morning.
Yeah. Well, now that we know the studies and everything on it, it is not good at all for you to do. You want to complete your sleep cycle, get up, and then really honor yourself. Like, you get up and you honor yourself. It's your morning. It's your time to do what you want to do. Like, I'm really great with keeping my cell phone way over, away from me. But, I've gone through habits where you wake up and you pick up your cell phone and you look at your appointment schedule, or, you scroll something, and then the morning's gone from you. That's it. Somebody else got your morning. Somebody on FaceTime, or you read a story, or something was scripted on the screen, or no, spend that morning time, like, to get up and do our me time. Like, so I've gotten into this 10 to 15 minutes of, when I get up, I do my meditation. So you'll be happy to hear that, because you're really good at that. You get up and then you brush your teeth and pee and whatever you need to do, and then you sit and you meditate. And now I do that, and I get my meditation, and then I do my stretches and my yoga, and then my other little routine things. But I don't touch my phone for at least an hour, at
Mhm.
least. So it's like, but then I got to get to work. So you have to pick up your phone. But on the days I'm off, I'm really pushing the phone aside and get outside. And so, we get a routine going, but depending on your schedule, yeah, it can change a little bit. But the little bit of time for you in the morning, whether it's a lot of time or a little bit of time, it's got to be for you, right? Me. We need that. And then we're really delighted. We're really like, wow, gave me that time.
Yeah, it gave me that time, and it also leaves room for inspiration about your day instead of looking at your schedule of what you have scheduled. It leaves time for inspiration of what do you feel to do today if you've got some flexibility in there. And that's what one of the things I love about my mornings is, yes, I get up and meditate. Actually, before I brush my teeth, I meditate. And then and then I might brush my teeth and then I do my yoga routine. Then I will touch my phone to listen to podcasts because I listen to podcasts while I do my makeup and my hair in the morning. But I won't return text messages because I just, I actually don't return messages usually until 10 or 11 a.m. when I've been
Mhm.
up for 3 hours already. And but yeah, to me, it just leaves room to really feel into the day as to what I'm feeling. So people will have a cup of coffee or tea, in the morning. So don't you go downstairs and
Yeah.
get your coffee immediately
Well,
when you wake
well,
up?
sometimes it's coffee or tea. It's one or the other. Yeah. I think it's
Do
the
that
ritual
before
of
you
making.
meditate?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah. Some
Yeah.
people do that. That's I'm just well, I don't. I stay upstairs and I don't get tea because I don't drink coffee. I don't get my tea until 11 or 12. And
Yeah.
so I just stay upstairs and I don't, I'll maybe drink a little bit of water and I'll take a probiotic,
Mhm.
something like that, but I won't do any tea at all. And so,
Yes.
but even the time what you're drinking tea, some people like to drink their coffee or tea and read the newspaper. That's a big thing for a lot of people. Hopefully it's an actual paper rather than scrolling through,
Mhm.
but some people do like the news in the morning. But whatever it is, to do it like mindfully and enjoy it, like you really enjoy going downstairs and hitting that machine, that ritual for you, like
Yes.
that's a ritual that just brings you present, wakes you up in a nice way.
Well, even if it's decaffeinated, it's the coffee or the tea that I make, it is a ritual, and you go down and you make it in your digestive system. It's warming, and whether it's great for your bowels and it gets you eliminating, which works for me and also a lot of other people. But it is that kind of like, I don't know, it is my I got my microbiome conditioned. They're like in there waiting, their little faces. Oh. So, but it is a kind of a ritual, and it is part of a me time. Yeah, it's I think it's really important that we do that. We a lot of times, I speak to a lot of people who've lost themselves in the morning. They go, I can't believe it. Like, I don't even remember what I've done all day, and the day is gone. But
Yeah.
when we have that little time in the morning, and then if we can do it again in the afternoon, again, it's those pauses, right? Which we talked about on one of our other podcasts. Those pauses allow us to kind of sit back and reflect and the
And
day
feel
doesn't.
into what's next instead of, I mean, sometimes, like I said, we do have to schedule things and follow through. We've scheduled with something with somebody or, whatever it is, but sometimes it's nice just to kind of feel into your day to see what you're feeling into and what you feel to do and what is, our intuition. I feel like, I really value my intuition. My friend today, so I took my friend to the airport this morning at 11 and I went this, Briley Parkway way around, like it's the long way around, but it's really nice and picturesque. And then after I dropped her off, I'm like, oh, I'm excited to get back home to do a few things before I see my clients. So I took the highway instead. And as soon as I passed Briley, the last exit, it was dead stop traffic, like
Oh, wow.
dead stop. And it took 40 minutes to get home instead of 15 minutes because we still don't know why 24 was shut down completely. So anyway, I texted my friend Kathy and said I got stuck. And she's like, oh my gosh, she said, I've been telling my family all morning that somebody that I know, but she didn't have any idea I was going to the airport. She goes, somebody needs to know that the traffic shut down. I saw it on the news and somebody's going to the airport. I just don't know
Oh,
who it is. I
that's
said, well, it was
funny.
me.
Yeah.
So listening to your intuition, having that time, and Kathy does meditate every day in the
Hmm.
morning, and creating that space to feel into intuition or your schedule or listening to your partner more. God, I was listening to a podcast the other day. It was actually at the actor Paul Giamatti.
Hmm.
Is a wonderful actor. He has this podcast called Chinwag, and they talk about clairvoyance and psychics and stuff. And he's with another friend of his who's a professor, and they just do it like on the psychological aspect of why people believe it. All these different and he's a wonderful actor and he's a great speaker, but he is not a good listener.
Oh.
And like they interviewed Tom Hanks, and Tom Hanks listened to everything and responded to everything. And he even commented how what a good listener he is. And so many times, Paul's other podcast person will say something, and Paul will interrupt, and they'll never go back to what his friend said. And
Mhm.
so, and some people are like that. And it's not like they're not doing it on purpose. To me, it's a mindful aware thing. It's like because you do sometimes being a good listener is sort of a learned thing. You can't just expect everybody to be a good listener. It's kind of what I do for a living. And I'm feel like my dominant sense is hearing. So I do love tuning in and hearing, but just like Eddie's talent, like Eddie's takes in, your eyesight is unbelievable. You take everything in visually. Well, I can't tell you, every single time we're walking down the street or driving together, you'll see 10 things. Did you see that? No. Did you see that? Did you see? I can't believe you missed that, Corinne. And I'm like, no, I didn't see. My dominant sense is not visual. And
Mhm.
and it's kind of the same thing with hearing. It's like I'm tuned into hearing, she tunes into seeing. So we all sort of have this dominant sense. But the more sort of time that we spend and a time in the morning, it does set up your day.
It does. And it's interesting because listening for me, I grew up in a family where, if you took a breath, you lost your place in line at the table because they got the conversation now, of talking over each other. And there's a lot of families like Newfoundland, everybody wants to chat and talk and they're friendly and sweet and everything. But a lot of times, listening is a learned behavior. We have to sit, like, I've had to practice that. And even in my own career in medicine, I've that's been a big yeah, big field for me to dive into, to just listen. Because and also when you're wanting to give advice to somebody and I kind of know where they're going, I'm wanting to finish the sentence and I know what they're going to say. I have this pain and I says it's your head, it's in your head. Yeah, it's in your no. So I've gotten really, really, really good. But that years comes, practice. And same with you. I mean, remember how much we'd see each other and then I would have 100 years caught up in 2 hours with you. And you're like, oh my God, I'm so exhausted. And that's because there's so much to say, right? But now I feel less words is just, yeah, yeah. I like to listen more actually
Yeah,
these days.
you do.
Hmm.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
And there was a time when I wasn't a good listener. I don't think that that was my dominant sense when I was young, for sure. And it's just something that I've grown into, and I appreciate that about myself, and it serves me well in what I do. And I really enjoy even just sitting next to somebody on the plane, tuning in and listening to them. I love sitting on the plane and meditating and not talking to anybody, even for 10 out on a 10-hour flight to India, or actually 14 hours, but from London to India is 14 hours. Um, but I also would enjoy, talking and listening to people's story as well.
And sometimes there's a good conversation to be had, and sometimes, just idle chatter when we wanna meditate. It's yeah. So it's
Yeah.
knowing what you want, and you are a good listener. You're a great listener, actually. That's why your life coach work is, wonderful, for people.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I enjoy it. And I think we're usually good at things we really enjoy, you know,
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. And I find with the habits, like the personal things we do in the morning, I have always, since I can remember, as soon as I got out of the bed, it was made. I pulled my blankets and straightened my pillows right away.
Yeah, me
And
too.
and and if you think about it, that's one thing you got done for the day, right? And I always love to come into my room where it was tidy. I never go to bed with my clothes on the floor. Like that's just me. I like my bedroom to be tidy, and it's my oasis, and the pillows, and you know, yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. The bed made in the morning is a big deal for me. Like I really enjoy, because there was a time when I was younger when I didn't enjoy making the bed. But the last 30 years at least or so, I just really enjoy it. I love my bed. I love my blankets and pillows on my bed. And it's really like you. It's like when I walk in from the bathroom after washing my face to see my bed clean, it's like it's so nice. It's like, and I've accomplished something already today. Like our
Yeah.
brains are looking for accomplishment. Did I talk about in the last podcast about the infinite scrolling?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
but say that again. That's really a good point.
really
That can
important. And I brought it up at a dinner I had with some people the other night too. So Trevor Noah was talking to the guy that invented infinite scrolling, which is, when you used to go on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, there used to be the bottom of the page, you had to wait for it to load.
mhm,
And then so our brains are constantly looking for a conclusion to something. So that's how our brains work. So when you scroll, if there's infinite scrolling, which is what they have now, and there's no conclusion,
mhm.
your brain is never satisfied. So that's why you'll keep scrolling. So it's just so interesting, just even you being aware of that when you
Yeah.
start, and just give yourself a time. Like now the iPhones, I think somebody was telling me that you can actually put a timer, and when you've been on the phone a certain amount of time, it'll shut off, and
Wow,
it'll
that's
tell you
good.
been on long enough, if you.
Well, it's going down the rabbit hole, you pick up your phone, and you're going to get caught up into something. There's so much on there. Something's going to grab your interest.
Mhm.
You know, first thing in the morning, last thing at night, we shouldn't be scrolling.
No, no, and it's a habit, and I know it's a fun habit.
Yeah.
Like I used to love watching, funny things before I went to sleep.
Hmm.
But I try not to do that at all. Like I do like to watch TV before I go to sleep. That's,
Oh yeah, me
more than
too.
reading actually, these days. Or what actually, and then when I'm going to sleep, I'll listen to usually an audible book, but usually something really relaxing like Adi Ashanti or Eckhart Tolle that puts me to sleep.
Hmm.
I don't have to have that to sleep, but
Yeah.
sometimes I enjoy it, and it's better than going to sleep after I watch, an episode of Suits or something like that.
Well, that's the thing. Everybody's got a different way of kind of getting into your good sleep hygiene. Sometimes we know as soon as Netflix comes on, oh, in a couple of hours it's going to be time to go to bed, or an hour. And
Yeah,
then we get to bed at that certain time, and we get in, and either we listen to Adi Ashante, or I'll pick up the book. I usually have 3 or 4 books on my table.
yeah,
If I'm not really, really sleepy, I'm going to read something that I'm really interested in, but then I get really tired really quick because it's taken so much attention, you
yeah.
know?
The end
And
of it.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and it's the end of the day, and my brain wants to rest, and that's just me. I have to kind of, move out of the default network and put attention, and then the attention exhausts me.
And then what time do you start heading to bed and what time do you actually turn off the light? Do you have a certain time?
So around 11:30 the lights out. So around 10:30ish I'm in the room calming down. Takes me, anywhere from half hour to an hour to, but I want to be asleep by 11:30. That's why sometimes you'll see a little text come in from me, and I'm thinking of you, or we've just finished talking earlier or something, and I'll say good night. And then you might respond, but I don't see it till the next day
Yeah, and I
sometimes,
know
right?
once you say goodnight, you're gone.
I
Except
got-
for sometimes you go to a little bit later. I mean, we talk
I
about
do
flexibility in the
sometimes.
morning. Yeah, when you're not working the next day or on the weekend and stuff, you go to bed a little bit later.
Yeah, yeah, it'll be 11:30 or 12. So, but definitely my morning is about the same. I'm usually up around 7:38. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Definitely. If I want to sleep in, it'll go to 8:30. But I like to get my whole day in. I love to get my whole day. And I find if we're taking the time to meditate or reflect, quiet time, be in nature, do something, some type of exercise sometime during the day, learn something, work on something that we're trying to complete. Like I have projects, painting or writing a song or writing a book or completing a, a, a session of something, and if I put a little bit of time in on even one of those a day, I feel like I'm, like Mel Robbins says, you're moving the football down the field. And you know how they get a touchdown. It's a little, just keep moving the ball down the field. And that's kind of, a little bit of a um, mindset for me these days, is to do the little bits, and I'm feeling really good because they add up at the end, right? You really progress to complete something. So
Mhm. Just like our podcast, it's like,
yeah,
by being consistent with it and connecting at least once a week. And if we miss a week, then we'll do maybe
yeah,
a double one to try to keep consistent. Then all of a sudden, after 4 months, we've got like 10 episodes or 15 or something like that.
absolutely. And I'm looking at all of them, and it really, when I scroll down through all the W050 podcasts, and I'm going, wow, we've done all those. You don't realize when you go back, it's like chapters in a book. It's really beautiful. It's really cool.
And that's what consistency does, because our lives can go by without being committed and consistent to something. And all of a sudden, that's what can cause a little bit of, anxiety and depression, is like life is going by and I'm not doing what I want to do. And so more your morning can help you with that, whether it's journaling that you want to do or a little bit of reading. I mean, there's a lot of different options. One of the first things I do when I coach people is talk about what their morning routine is. How do they start their day? Because how you start your day sets up your day, and that's your days set up you make your week makes your month makes your years. So how you start your mornings kind of sets up your year.
Yeah, and how you set up your morning, if you've given this much time to yourself, and by the end of the year you've given that amount of time to yourself, you should be really good at some the things you pick to do in the morning.
Yeah.
Right? Whether it's, I said this to a guy the other day, and he says, I just don't get out much. And I said, you have a dog? He goes, yeah. He said, I feel bad because I don't have the energy to go out. And I said, well, that's what we have to change first, your motivation, your energy. Let's figure out why that's an issue. But here's what I want you to do. And I gave him a list of things. And it's unbelievable. He said, that's all I needed was the to-do list. And he said, and not that it's a to-do list, it's my morning. It's, I can do this in the morning. He said, but by the time I get home, I'm exhausted and the dog's looking at me and nobody gets any good out of me. So if we get those things done in the morning, we're getting a lot of good in. Even the dog's happy, right? You can even high five yourself, going out the door, like just be kind to yourself. And I've worked on that so much over the years, of being so disappointed of not finishing something. And oh, I had that was a plan, or that was a resolution. And just, yeah, plans smams, give them up. Just see what you want to do. Write down what you want to do, whether it's a goal and or if it becomes a plan. Okay, but
But how
make
you
it
start your
worth
morning
doing.
is then you can write your plan, because when in the morning, if you've got space in your morning, then you might start writing your plan that way, like journaling or whatever. If you hit the ground, I mean, I think about that when I'm driving down the street and I see people like smoking a cigarette and drinking coffee driving in the car, and you know that they just jumped out of bed and started their day like that, and that's makes up their day, what makes up their week, makes up their month, and it's it's also when you accomplish, like even what Eddie and I were talking about is making your bed in the morning, little accomplishments, like you pat yourself on the back in your mind, you feel
Mhm.
good, and then you feel more confident to do the next thing. Like one of the Tony Robbins, when I studied with him, one of his main things to get people unstuck is to have them do something that they're afraid of or that's really challenging for them, just one thing. And when
Mm.
they see themselves do that, it raises their confidence to be able to do the next thing, you know? And so the morning routine is kind of like that. When you have morning routine that you commit to and it
Mhm.
starts to work in your life, then you again, just feel proud of yourself and confident to make, better decisions for everything in your life, for the goals that you want to take, or the vacation that you want to do, or whatever, or the relationship that you want to work on, whatever it is. You know, not that you have to not that you have to like accomplish things, because everybody's different. Like I find even bettering a relationship is an accomplishment. Like, and humans do need that meaning, that progress. Your brain is actually made for that.
Yes. Just a little bit of progress. Any little movement, whatever it is, it's movement. It's going in the right direction. And it is, whether it's a dopamine hit or it's a really good feeling, I was like, "Oh, I got that done today. I'm so glad I did that. I fitted it in then." Like the morning, if it's really icky out, like I must say, my honey, he'll every single morning, he the two of us, like since January, this month has come in, we are really strict now with our morning routines, so we've gotten like really good now. But he does the walk. He'll get out and do that brisk walk, right, which a lot of people recommend, which is great. And if it's too icy out, I'm not doing the brisk walk. I'm upstairs doing my five rights yoga, or I'm adding in a little bit of hatha or whatever, planks, whatever it is, to get my heart rate up a little bit. So I laugh because I say to him, I said, "You got a brisk walk, like now we're in that age group where you got to walk like, the roads are going to freeze in the next 10 minutes. You got to get it done really fast and get back in." That's a brisk walk. Because people ask me, what is a brisk walk? Like, is that just like you swing your arms, or no, you're walking like your pants is on fire? Like it's,
Or you're trying to keep up with your mom. My mom and my sister, of course, my mom not so much now because she's 84, but I mean, she didn't slow down till about 5 or 6 years ago. And my sister, they're both such fast walkers. So all I have to do is walk like I'm trying to catch up with them. And they're both have little legs just like I do, you know? And like
yeah.
I'm trying to get, like I went on a couple of walks with for my sister over the holidays, and man, it was like almost a run. And she is a runner too. So
Yeah.
um yeah, definitely get your heart rate up. And these days I like my trampoline because I'm a fair
Yeah.
weather walker. It has to be like between, 50 and
Mhm.
85 degrees with no humidity and no rain for
Oh,
me to
yeah.
want to go out and hike and walk and stuff. So, and that's a fine. That's just, I mean, I will go out, like I don't enjoy jumping out of bed and not doing any, I always meditate, but like, and do my yoga practice, but I like my morning slow. But when I'm with my sister, she likes to get out and walk first thing in the morning. So I go upstairs and with still with my pajamas. I've just finished my meditation and my yoga, and she's like already in her hiking clothes waiting for me. And I was like, run back downstairs and go, and I'll do it for her. It's not like I can't do it. I just don't
Mhm.
enjoy doing that. And then I'll go out for a really brisk walk with her because that's what she likes to do.
Well, look at what we did when we were in Sicily. We walked a lot every single day,
Yeah,
and it was lovely, but the weather was amazing.
it's ideal.
It was perfect. I mean, you've been up here in Newfoundland, and I've taken Corinne out walking on this Signal Hill. It's the East Coast Trail, and it's a nice hike, let me tell you. And then we had winds pick up of like 110 kilometers an hour, and honestly, we had our arms like laid out, and we
Leaning
were
into it.
pushing against the wind.
We could literally, it's almost, you know how you do the free fall against somebody? I was free falling against the wind and it was holding me up.
Yeah, and it was like that almost every day. The sun is out and the wind was blowing, the weather was a bit cool, but, you know, it was so good, and that was a brisk walk because we had to get out of there fast, you know, be blown off the hill, but there's yeah, it's beautiful, and it's gonna change, it's gonna change through your day, but your morning routine, if you can get that kinda locked in, then it feels really good. There's something very ritualistic about a routine that's solid. Like it's almost like it's spiritual, Don't you think? It's like it's your dedication.
Yeah, reverence. Yeah.
Yeah.
For yourself. I mean, it's like you said, it's like we do stuff throughout the whole day. We do stuff for our car, we do stuff for our employees or our boss or our clients or our children or our parents or our partner, for our house,
Mhm.
and we don't do that many things just for ourselves.
No, we don't. And those things when someone says I don't meditate, well, just learn to sit still for a little bit.
Yeah,
You're
there's so
the
much free stuff online,
yeah.
like even 5, 10 minutes. What did somebody said? One of my clients said that some meditation person said that it takes 12 minutes for your brain to change to get the benefits in your frontal lobes or whatever. So she was all motivated just to do 12 minutes. And I'm like, okay, whatever, I'd rather you do 20, but you can
Yes.
start with 12, no problem. And some
Yeah.
people start with 2 or 3 minutes, and that's
Mhm.
fine because some brains, I do have a couple clients with ADHD and or with anxiety, and starting them off with meditation isn't, but you can do yoga, you can do your walk, you can do mindfulness walking, like breathing and walking at the same time. I
Mhm.
give people mindfulness techniques all the time to whenever they go to the bathroom, to be aware of walking to the bathroom, going to the bathroom, or taking a shower, being aware instead of getting lost in thought.
Mhm.
That's all different types of moving meditations.
Mhm. And even like this just came into my head. If you get up in the morning and you go into the bathroom and you look in the mirror, and the first thing you should do is not pick at your face, or go, "Oh God, you look so tired." You just go, "Hey, good morning. We're going for a walk now. Come on, let's see what we look like when we come back." And when you do, and you come back and your cheeks are pink and you feel good and you're making your breakfast and you're planning the rest of your day, it's like, I don't know, when you get that little morning bit in, you start looking forward to it. And then the next day and the next day, before you know it, it's routine.
And you feel
It's
good and you
innate.
look forward to it. That's why I have a morning routine that I enjoy, because I just yeah, I don't love jumping out of bed when I'm groggy and having to do something. I like really approaching the morning in a
Mhm.
slow way, so that I'm fully aware. By the time I go downstairs, I'm like, can talk to people, I can take a phone call, I can make my tea, and coherent. And I feel like I'm fully there and able to greet the world. And I
Mhm.
really enjoy that. So finding something that you really enjoy, that you dedicate to yourself is, yeah, it's a wonderful accomplishment.
Mhm. It is. I'm even this week and next week doing an 8:30 pickleball class. So that means I will be up earlier.
So will you
So
meditate, do yoga, and have your coffee and do everything before that?
maybe I'm going to let you know how that one goes. So I might even go, nope, nope, it never worked for me in the past. It's still not working for me after 50. I'm going to stick to my later classes. But we'll see. We sometimes it's nice to challenge yourself and see what you're
So
capable of.
what Eddie's talking around is that she loves her sleep. She will take, if she has to be somewhere early and her body doesn't want to wake up at 7 to meditate, she will not.
Nope, she won't. She
No.
will sleep.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely.
Because I do know that about myself. And I've been very fortunate these 60 years of my life that I did not get sleep interruptus, self-induced.
You
Yeah.
never had problems sleeping is what you're saying.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even through menopause, because menopause often interrupts people's sleep. Or people have people that are waking them up, when they're trying to sleep. And I've had that in my life too. So, you make the necessary changes, what you need, because if it's important to you, you got to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do love my morning stuff. I love being up. Yeah. And
And
seeing the morning. Hmm.
how does your routine change on a work day and not a work day?
Um, well, on a non-work day, I can get more of my exercise things that I like to do in. On my work day, I'm in the office then, usually from 9:30 to 4:30. So, that changes things a bit. Yeah. I try and keep up my time that I get up and go to bed usually stays about the same. But I'll do my meditation. If I run out of time in the morning, I'll do it between patients. Yeah, in the morning. So I'll get it in, but I try and keep it all really kind of stacked together now in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so then maybe that's what's changed. That's what you've tweaked a little bit,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
is
Yeah.
making sure even on a work day that you get everything,
Yes.
your
Yeah.
yoga.
When I have the workout things to do, like on tomorrow's Monday, so there's a 10 o'clock pickleball class, and so I have loads. I don't have to be to work, right? So when I get up, I'll get my meditation in. I'll get my yoga in. I'll get my journaling in. I'll do a little bit of writing. I'll get to my pickleball class. I'll have my breakfast. Like there'll
Didn't
be a
talk
lot.
about journaling and writing before. That's part of your
I can
routine.
do it. I often do a little bit in the morning, but I try and get that whole little stack of things. I call it my 10 to 15-minute things in.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
So
then you also eat too, because I
I
don't eat
do.
at all.
I make my smoothie and I do my coffee. I might have, my gluten-free bagel or I'll do eggs or but if I'm going to play pickleball, I'm doing a smoothie.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I don't eat like food like it's too heavy on my belly. So I'll eat after pickleball. But
yeah,
I'll have a smoothie or half a smoothie in me.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so what about nighttime routines? I think that we can talk a little bit about our nighttime routines because I think nighttime routines are important too, especially because there are many people that have problems with sleeping. And
Mhm.
what sort of the nighttime routine is. I I like getting my I actually don't get my jammies on right away. I actually stay dressed until probably an hour before bed. That
Mhm.
tells my body, one of the things that tells my body I'm winding down. And
Mhm.
then probably within a half an hour of going to bed, I will wash my face and take out my contact lenses and put all the fun things on my face and stuff like
Mhm.
that. Then my body, those things tells my body that I am getting ready for bed. Then I'll
Mhm.
come back and I might watch a few more minutes of a show or I'll shut it down and I'll put on, Audible. Um, yeah. Yeah. And then I,
Yeah, mine is pretty similar except I'm about the same. I'll put on my PJ bottoms about an hour before I head to watch. We watch a Netflix series or a movie or a show. But before we even do that, we'll play. Strat and I will play. My honey will play a game of cards or Scrabble or gin rummy or like we're not on the phone kind of people because I know a lot of people catch up and they talk and they're on the phone because I think I'm talking all day so in the evening, it's kind of like we go for our walk when I get home, and then we have supper, and then I just the winding down, the sleep hygiene bit, it's just knowing, and if we're up, like say it's going into Saturday or Sunday and it's 10:30, my head automatically starts like, okay, I'm getting really tired now. And if I went in and laid down in the bed, I would go out to sleep.
Mhm.
So that's what happens to me. And yeah. So and Strats, he's able to stay up a little later. So yeah. So that's what happens. You get your routine going, brush our teeth, wash our face. We know the body's knowing it's winding down. The lights are dimmer. We don't have bright lights on. Um, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And if
It's
I ever had a night, sorry, when if I ever had a night when was, restless or whatever, I'd take a nice bath, Epsom salt lavender bath. But
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, that's nice practice too. I
mhm,
remember our friend Jamie, she won't mind if I share this, but
mhm,
one of her first silent retreats that she did um, with me in Tazewell, Tennessee, she said to me after we came out of silence, she's like, so so I went to go to bed because on silent retreats, you're not supposed to read or write or definitely not have your phone on. And so she was getting ready for bed, and it was so odd. She was used to being on her phone before she went to bed. So she's thought to herself, she shared this with me. She's like, so do I just like get in bed and turn off the light and my body will go to sleep? Like she had no idea that that's what would happen. And that's a great awareness to have when
yeah,
you're on a silent retreat and there's no TV, there's no phone, there's no cellular service, and you don't have a book because you're not supposed to bring a book.
mhm,
What do you do before bed? And
yeah,
how does that feel?
yeah.
Just
It's
that's one of the
great.
things about a silent retreat is well, it might not feel great for some people, right? They might
Yeah,
feel very uncomfortable or lay in bed twiddling their thumbs for a while. I don't sleep much on retreat. So, I mean, I'm not a big sleeper anyway, but definitely on retreat, I don't sleep a lot. But I'm fine with shutting off the light and just laying for a couple hours. Like that's not a problem for me as I've done it my whole life. S-
yeah,
If I wait around too long, like I'll get up and I'll do some writing or something like that. Like I've actually written my first book. I wrote that when I couldn't sleep. I wrote it at like between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. over a
mhm.
couple of week period. My manifestation handbook was written in the
Oh
middle of
yeah,
a lot of my
wow,
songs that I used to write were in the middle of the night. And so we all have different habits. Like that would never work for Eddie at
no,
all. But I want to give people permission to like whatever feels natural for you. Not because then I met another woman recently who I could tell was very out of balance. And she doesn't sleep much, but I can tell because I think she's ADHD, but also she's very Vata imbalanced. And
mhm,
she then is scrolling and activating her mind all night. I actually do lay in bed for a couple of hours. And if I'm still wide awake at 2 a or 3 a.m., that's when I'll get up and do some things. And then I wasn't tired in the morning too. When that happens to me, I can
mhm,
still function. Eddie's seen it because there was a couple of
yeah,
nights in Sicily when I was awake all night and I could still function in the day. It's not a problem. It's just my mother, needs 5 or 6 hours of sleep. My sister needs 5 or 6 hours of sleep. My great grandmother, my grandmother, it runs in our family. So
yeah. I'm like my mother. She sleeps well. Always have slept well. She's 88, and yeah, she. It's amazing. She can just go in and go to bed, go to sleep solid. Yeah, it's a gift because there's a lot of people out there that, the brain, that turnover, that where it just clicks over, is challenging for a lot of people.
and
And
that's not why I don't sleep though.
oh, I know, not for you, but for a lot of
For a
people,
lot of
it
people, that's
is
why meditation is so
the
important for
thinking. Yeah, the thinking mind is yeah, but for you, no, no, no. I know your reasons are not that.
Yeah, I'm not, people were like, you didn't sleep. Well, were you thinking? I'm like, no, no, why would I think at nighttime?
Yeah, yeah. You're like, my brain doesn't need it. Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah.
need it. It's interesting. I always think sleep is like a cleanup, it's like it's a really beautiful rest. Yeah,
Our
yeah.
bodies need it. The body definitely needs some sleep. Everybody's different. Some people need more sleep than others. And it is a requirement for the body. I
Mhm.
mean, I think about it sometimes and I think if we were like aliens from another planet or, and see what these human bodies do it's kind of weird when you really think about it. Like we require sleep, we require a certain amount of nutrition, and just all the things that the body, kind of like a car will need maintenance.
Yeah,
The body needs this
yes,
maintenance too.
it does. It really does.
Because
Yeah.
this body and this mind is how we view the world, how we see the world, and how the body feels can really affect your perspective on life. It doesn't, I think that's part of the spiritual practice is even if you're uncomfortable and your body's not being okay, to not, go too far into it. But it is challenging, no doubt, when people are in pain or, have it is something to get over. Like it's hard to be positive about life when you're in pain or challenged with your body.
It's true.
Yeah.
True.
So take care of it as best you can. Some things we don't have control over. We get sick or
Hmm.
illness or whatever like that. But the things we do have control over, getting
Hmm.
good sleep, waking up with a good plan and going to bed,
Hmm.
on time and having a routine that works for you.
Work that works for you. This is your body. This is your body. This is the one you get. So you have to take care of it, rest it, exercise it, move it, feed it good food.
Mhm. Give the brain a rest in meditation, not just in sleep.
Yes.
You can, or
Get
there's a lot
out.
of guided meditations online too and short ones.
Take a little brisk walk, get out in nature, have some gratitude journaling going on, try some, projects if you want them and move through them a little bit at a time. It doesn't have to be a rush, but just get a little routine going.
Yeah. And share with us if we haven't mentioned what your morning routine is. You can always, send us a message and let us know what it is, because I'd like to know about different morning routines too.
I'm sure there's a lot of different morning routines.
Other than meditation and yoga, how could that be?
I'm sure there's a lot. I'm sure there's a lot. We'll
Yes.
be hearing the new routines. Hey, we might even add them to what we're doing already.
Maybe you never know. Got to be flexible in life.
Oh, yes. I love learning. I love learning. I learn every day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ed. That was fun.
It was fun.
I think
Thank
we'll actually
you.
publish this one.
Yeah. I think so.
All right. We'll see you next time.
Till next time.